Hello, hello, hello. I am the Linux Mitch. Today, I'm going to do something that I've never done before. I'm going to do an install of Arch Linux using the August 1st ISO, using the automated Arch installer. But the things I'm going to do differently are this. Number one, my installation is going to be on a real bare metal computer, not a virtual machine. Number two, that computer is only hooked up to the internet through Wi-Fi. And number three, I'm going to use a capture card so I can record it. And I'm going to also install the i3 window manager with my own configuration file. So let's get to it. So what I'm going to do is power on the computer. And while it's booting up, I'm going to have to press F12. Let's press F12 until we get into the boot menu. And that's another thing that I've never done before. Well, you know what? I've made a couple of videos on how to get into the boot menu using a live USB ISO, and I recorded it with my iPad. You know, the camera on my iPad, I held it in front of the monitor, and the picture wasn't that great. It was shaky and a bit blurry, but this is the first time I'm using my capture card. And also, just to mention, the capture card just came yesterday, and I've been learning how to use it, and I never used the capture card before. So I couldn't figure out how to use the capture card to record the installation of Arch Linux on my bare metal computer and to have my face there. So my face is not going to be in this video, except for at the beginning and at the end, because I couldn't figure out how to hook it up. Maybe you can't. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. But the main thing is that I'm recording the installation on a bare metal computer with Wi-Fi. So anyways, we've logged into the boot menu, and I'm going to use my arrows to go up and down, right like that. And you can do legacy boot. Well, I'm going to do legacy boot. So I'm going to use my arrows to go to the USB storage device. I'm going to hit enter. And now we're going to log on to the live USB thumb drive with the August 1st Arch Linux ISO. And I guess I'll just pause the video for a second until we boot it onto the thumb drive, because it takes a minute. Oh, and actually it's not going to take that long. There we are. We are on the live ISO. So the first thing I'm going to do is, like I always do in my installs, is set font here dash 132B. Ah, that's better. Now the next thing I'm going to do is vim etc Pacman Conf, and I'm going to go down and I'm going to uncomment verbose package list and parallel downloads, and I'm going to save the file, and I'm going to clear the screen. Now another thing I'm going to do is vim etc Pacman D mirror list, and I'm going to do this slash America. Yes, I want to grab this mirror because this is a good mirror. It's in good condition. I checked it today online, and it's a fast mirror. So I'm going to delete it. I'm going to take it to the top, and I'm just going to make a space. Let's go down. Okay, so we're going to use that mirror, and I might just get one more mirror. Constant, and let's go up to the top. Let's paste it in as my second mirror, and I'm going to save the file and get out of there, and I'm going to clear the screen. So I've made verbose package lists, and I chose a mirror that I want to use. Now I can't sync the mirrors because I don't have any internet, right? So let's do ping archlinux.org. See, we have no internet. So I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm going to type in this command, iwctl. And now at this point, you can type in, well, you got to get the name. So let's do this. Let's type in device list. And you can see there, the name of the device is WLAN 0. And that's a 0 and not an O. And we're going to need that name. So now, if you know the name of your Wi-Fi network and your password, you can skip a couple of these steps, but I'm going to go through them just in case you've never done this before. Now I'm going to type in station WLAN 0 scan. Now I'm going to use my arrows to go up to bring in the last command, and I'm going to delete scan. I'm going to get networks. Now you don't have to do this if you know your network name, but in case you don't, now when you do it this way, it's going to bring up a list of networks of people who have Wi-Fi in your vicinity. So I live in a building, so the people in my vicinity, it's reading their Wi-Fi networks. And it's just like when you go to put a Wi-Fi in your smartphone or your smart tablet, you can see other Wi-Fi networks there. So that's what we're showing here. Now I'm going to use my arrows to go up and bring in the last command. And I'm going to type in connect and my network name. Okay, now it's asking for my passphrase. So I got to put my passphrase in. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so I got my password in, and if I typed it right, it should connect. Now I'm going to exit, and I'm going to clear the screen. Now I'm going to ping archlinux.org. And there we are. We have internet. Now, if you want to shut that off, well, we have to shut that off. Be Control-C will stop it, and I'm going to clear the screen. Now, I selected a mirror earlier, so I got to sync my mirrors. So I'm going to do Pacman-SYY, and I'm syncing my mirrors. Now I'm going to log into Arch Install, and I'm doing the automated installer because this video is not really about installation. It's about installing with Wi-Fi. And it's also about installing with a capture card on a real bare metal computer. So now I'm going to skip mirrors because I already selected my mirror. Let's go to locales though. I'm going to go to locales, and I'm going to change this to Canada. English Canada. I'm going to go back. And this configuration, I'm going to partition the disk. I'm going to use the best configuration. You got to make sure you select the right one. On my 1 terabyte drive, ext4. I don't want a home. I'm not spending a long time on this part because it is not the reason why I'm doing the video. Disk encryption, I'm going to skip. Bootloaders grub. Swap, I always say no. Host name, I'm going to call it Arch Wi-Fi. Root password, I'm going to put an easy password in because this is just for the video. And that's why I'm not encrypting it. And I'm going to skip user account, profile, audio, kernel, use the real Linux kernel. Kernel, I'm just going to use the stable kernel. Additional packages is vim git terminus -font. And network configuration, this is very important. I'm going to pick use network manager, and I'm going to pick my time. Canada Eastern. And I'm going to go down, I'm going to install it. I'm going to hit install. Hit enter. So this is going to do a base install. And after the fact, we're going to have to reconnect our Wi-Fi. And I'm going to install all my favorite apps and window managers. And I'm going to install i3. So this part here is going to take about 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do is pause the video and come back. So don't go away. And that was fast. It didn't even take 5 minutes, and maybe even 3 minutes, because I picked a really good mirror. So now you have the choice of rooting into the system or rebooting. Would you like to root into the newly created installation? And the default is yes, but I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no, and I'm going to hit enter. The installation completed without any errors. You may now reboot. Instead of rebooting, I'm going to shut down. I'm going to power down the whole system and pull out my thumb drive. Shut down now. And I'm just shutting down. And now things gone off. And I'm going to go and pull out my thumb. Okay, the thumb drive is out and the computer is off, and I'm going to turn it on. And hopefully my capture card is still working. And there we are, it is. And we're booting into our newly installed base installation of Arch Linux on a bare metal computer using a capture card and using Wi-Fi. So I'm going to hit enter. Oh, don't have to hit enter. There it goes. Now, of course, I don't have a user yet, so it's going to take me into the TTY, and I'm going to type in root because I haven't created a user yet. I'm going to go root. I'm going to put root's password in. And the first thing I'm going to do is set bot tier -132b. That's better. So the first thing I want to do is vim etc pacman conf. So when you're doing your installation, when you change this file, it doesn't stick. You have to change it again when you log into your brand new install. So I'm going to go down and uncomment verbose package list and parallel downloads. I'm going to save the file. But the mirror list does stick. And let's just check it out. Let's do it this way. Vim etc pacman d/mirror list. And that's strange. My mirrors didn't stick. That's never happened to me before. You know what I'm going to do? That's the mirror that we use. That never happened to me before. My mirrors always stick when I go into my installation. Okay, well, let's save the file. And let's just go back in there. Okay, so it's got the two mirrors at the top that I want. And let's clear the screen. We're going to have to resync the mirrors, but first we have to set up our Wi-Fi. So if you do a ping archlinux.org, there's no Wi-Fi. So we got to reset the Wi-Fi, but you don't have to do it every time you boot into your computer. You do it once during the installation and once after the installation. So we're going to type in this command, nmtui, and we're just going to use our arrows. And I'm going to activate a connection. And you see all these Wi-Fis here? I'm going to click on mine. And now I got to type in my password. Okay, now we're going to hit enter. So now it's connected. And I'm going to go back. And I'm going to quit. I'm just using my arrows to maneuver around. Now I'm going to clear the screen. Let's see if we have Wi-Fi. Let's do ping archlinux.org. And now we have internet. And that's the last time you'll have to do that. Okay? You just have to do it once. Before and once after. So Control C will stop that. Now I'm going to make a user add -m mensch password mensch. Whoops, I spelled it wrong. Password without the O and without the R. And I put too many S's in that one. Mensch. I'm going to put Mensch's password in and retype Mensch's password. Vim etc sudoers. And I'm going to go down to where root is. So normally with the sudo file, giving a user sudo privileges, most distributions and most people will say to make the user part of that wheel group. I don't do that way. I do it this way. Let's copy that root. I just give mensch all rather than making him part of the wheel group. Save the file. Let's exit. Let's go in as mensch. Put mensch's password in. Now remember, well, we fixed the mirrors again. I don't know why I had to do that. I never had to do that before. They always copy over. But we fixed the mirrors again before we hooked up the Wi-Fi. So we got to resync the mirrors. Sudo pacman -syy. And there we go. We're syncing the mirrors again. Now I'm going to clear the screen. I'm going to do make dir.config, making a directory called .config. Let's see if it's there. And it is. Now I'm going to get my GitLab repository. I'm going to do git clone https://artibus1/mensch.git. And hopefully I typed that right, and it's downloading my GitLab repository. I'm going to clear the screen. Now I'm going to cd into my mensch directory, and I'm going to ls it. And I'm going to cd into my arch directory. See that's at the top at the far left. So I'm going to cd into my arch directory, ls it. And if you see on the far left, the first row, just a little more than halfway down, there's a file called AutoApp. So I'm going to vim into it, vim, auto. And I've shown this before. These are all the apps, all my favorite apps and window managers and everything that I like to add, that I like to install. And I've added some things to it. So if you've downloaded my GitLab repository in the past, you probably want to do a git pull to update it, because I've added some things to it. And let's quit. So I'm going to run it. So I'm going to do /auto. And I'm just going to keep entering. And it's downloading 654 packages. So this is going to take 5 minutes, 10 at the most, but I don't think it's going to take 10 minutes, probably only 5. I'm going to pause the video and come back, so don't go away. Okay, so that didn't even take 5 minutes. And now what I'm going to do is clear the screen. So now we're going to ls it again. And if you see here, you can see on the second column from the right, the second from the bottom, there's a run config file. So I'm going to vim into it, and this is what's in there. Going to copy my configuration files over. The first 2 lines are my configuration files. Let's do set nu. So you can see line 5, it's going to copy some configuration files over. Line 7, it's going to copy some wallpaper. Line 9 is going to copy my configuration files for my window managers. Line 11, it's going to set up Lightdm. Line 19 is going to set up my Bluetooth. Line 21 is going to enable Lightdm. And the bottom paragraph, it's going to set up my configuration for my firewall. Okay, so that's just what's in there, and I'm going to run that file. I'm going to get out of there. I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm going to do /run. And there we go. That's done. Now I'm going to cd out of there. And I'm going to clear the screen. Let's see if my zesh file is working. It is. Let's go into root and see if zesh is working in root. And I put my wrong password in. Let's go into root again. Let's do the right password. And let's type in zesh. And my zesh file is working. Now I'm going to go into etc password. And what I'm doing now is I'm going to change the default shell from bash to zesh. And I'm going to go down to mensch. I'm going to go to the end. I'm going to change that to zesh. Oops. And I'm going to save the file. And I'm going to exit. I'm going to exit. I'm going to exit. I'm going to exit. And I'm going to log back in as mensch. And put my password in. And now I set Lightdm, but I don't feel like rebooting. So I'm going to do sudo system control start Lightdm. Put my password in. I could reboot, but I don't feel like it. But I set the thing so that when you reboot, it's automatically going to go into the login manager, Lightdm. Okay. I just didn't feel like rebooting. And here you have this thing up here. And you're going to click on that. And Lightdm, so you see I have Cinnamon Desktop. I have Qtile. I have the awesome window manager. And I have i3. So let's log into i3. And let's put my password in. And hit enter. And now we are in i3. And you can see here. So we can see here we have the volume control. Let's click it on. Let's go to preferences. Let's click on white GNOME. And let's click on show slider. And let's close. And now you can see we have the slider. Oops. Can do volume up and down. Okay. And you can see here we have our internet. Okay. And you can turn the internet on or off through this icon. But we don't have any wallpaper. So I'm going to do mod key, open up D menu, and I'm going to type in nitrogen. I'm going to go to preferences, and I'm going to unclick recursive. You don't want that on. And I'm going to add my mesh folder. I'm going to select it, and I'm going to OK it. And I'm going to install this wallpaper here. Click it on, and I'm going to go apply. And we're going to close this because look at that. We have our volume control here. We have our Wi-Fi here. And let's open up a terminal. Let's ping google.com. And we have internet. Let's close that. Let's open up Firefox. Firefox. And there's Firefox. We have internet. Okay, so let's click on something. Let's type in archlinux.org. And there we have it. We have internet. And I'm going to close that. And of course, I have the awesome window manager installed, the Qtile window manager installed, and the Cinnamon desktop installed. But I'm not going to show you those today. I thought I would load up i3. And I like i3 because it has the interactive Wi-Fi icon automatically installed. And that's it. And I'm back. In this video, for the very first time, I did an installation of Arch Linux on bare metal computer on camera that's connected to the internet through Wi-Fi only. And I used a capture card. And I apologize for not having my mug on the whole video because I couldn't figure out how to do that. And I installed i3 window manager. And just to let you know, all my configuration files have been updated. So I've added i3, D menu, volume icon, and nitrogen into my auto app and also into my run config file. So if you updated my GitLab repository a long time ago, you should do a git pull. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I am the Linux Mensch.